Welcome to the CodePlay Culture podcast, where we discuss tech, gaming, health, and the world around us.
Welcome back to another exciting, amazing episode on the CodePlay Culture podcast. I am your host, Logan Dunning, and my co-host here, Rui. Say hello, Rui.
Hello, everybody.
All right, so today we have a awesome show number 2. We've been very consistent week over week, never missing a beat. And if we can indefinitely continue these weekly podcasts, looking back at this, years from now, it'll be quite the feat, right?
Absolutely.
We can do that. So today's exciting, amazing topic is animation alchemy, Studio Ghibli's influence on animation and the video game industry. So for those that don't know about this incredible, I guess, animator, visionary entrepreneur, Rui, do you want to kind of give us the high level of, if anyone's never heard of this studio and what they make, what they do?
Yeah, so Studio Ghibli is a Japanese animation studio that primarily makes Japanese animation, and I believe they have made some live action video, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. But yeah, they deliver amazing quality, top-notch animation with just top quality storyline. It's truly amazing, and it has inspired, of course, a ton of spin-offs, video games, and movies centered around those Ghibli themes, because they have a very unique art style and story. So yeah, that's basically what it is in a nutshell. In terms of Ni no Kuni the game, which is a spin-off, or not a spin-off. I shouldn't say it's a spin-off. Its art style is based on Studio Ghibli's art. Actually, no, it was developed by Studio Ghibli.
This one right here?
That's the one. And that's the one we're going to talk about today. The original, the one and only, Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch.
Right. And when you say one and only, maybe you can tell other people why.
My apologies.
Why?
There was a part 2.
No, but one and only is correct, right? Yeah. But why is the second one different?
Well, the first one, okay, second one's different. The familiar system, the familiar battle system, is not based around a Pokemon type battle system. It's,
like these little.
They went completely different.
Yeah,
and it's more of a single character kind of. It's a single protagonist, and he just goes on throughout the worlds and does his business. But in part 1, it's a familiar battle system, which is akin to your Pokemon type battle system, which I enjoy a lot more than part 2.
And I think you were saying before was part 1 was, this is part 2, but part 1 was like they worked with Studio, or the ex-employees or employees of Studio Ghibli, because I believe it dissolved, right? The company, or maybe they still have some ex people, but like the second one, did it? Were you telling me that it they didn't work directly with the art?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
that's what it was. Yeah. The second one didn't work directly with Studio Ghibli. They worked with ex-employees of that company.
Yeah. Right.
The first one they worked directly with.
Right. So if you're looking for that de facto Studio Ghibli experience for video games, you want to start with this one. If you like Pokemon, you're going to start with this one regardless. Yeah. This one, I would say, has way more charm than this one. Sure. But this one for me, I liked better only because I like that protagonist Final Fantasy level of, you have one character on the screen you're controlling. And this is, I felt like, with the familiars, maybe you can see, and for those who are just listening, the little Pokemon that fight for you. And you have this little line that connects to them, issuing kind of subliminal, subconscious commands. And it's totally weird if you think about it. But if you had, it's almost like if you had a Pokemon, right? And if that Pokemon got killed, yourself would die, right?
Right.
So it was like tightly coupled, as opposed to like Ash Ketchum. If Pikachu, unfortunately passed away, Ash would be like, well, I'll just get a another one. Well, I mean, he's probably wouldn't be so cutthroat. They do go back quite a bit, but that is a weird part about it. How there's just tight, ethereal, soul level bonding between the familiar and the main characters.
It's really cool because you get multiple familiars, and one dies, the other one comes out, and then the other one comes out, which is good. I mean, it increases longevity of your life, I suppose, right? They're like lives, right? You have your life, and then you have 2 extra lives, which is your familiars.
Oh, right. So you don't die right away. But it'll come out like, it's dead. It will send
the next
out.
one will pop out, and then you can revive that one with the other one or with your main character, Oliver.
Yeah,
it's super fun. But I think they're both made by Level 5, which is the same company for both.
This one is Level 5, and then this one is Level 5. It's so interesting to see. Company, though. Like if you look at the back here, a lot of video games you see Level 5 and Namco Bandai Namco. They underplay the developers, right? The publisher comes out like, where's Square Enix or whatever it is. Yeah. But you don't know that Crystal Dynamics or whoever made the Tomb Raider game or whatever it is, right? The limelight seems to always go to the publisher, Is that a Bandai Namco game? It's like, have you heard that new song from this person? And you're like, yeah, it's so good. And you think you give the artist the credit, but it's really like, oh, have you heard this song that the artist is using from Kanye West, like a beat from, the producer, or the developer in this case. It's funny that the person using it or pushing it normally gets the credit. I mean, that's probably okay if you think about it. They're shelling up tons of money to push it out.
Well, of course.
But it should be a little bit hand in hand.
It should be, right? And they should get the recognition. But I believe Level 5 is the development company, right?
Correct, yes. So who's Bandai Namco is, in the... You see, like, Bandai Namco gets the front, but the publisher is Level 5.
The developer, you mean?
Sorry, yes, the developer is Level 5 on both of them, and the publisher. And then look, on this one, it does show Level 5 in the front, both on the back. But it could have been the day one edition on this one, at the top. Maybe they put it after. Regionality matters, obviously, like if it's a ESRB rating versus a PEGI rating, and, they have different covers per culture or per whatever. But we're skipping ahead a bit because we have to talk about, all of the different, movies that they've created. Maybe we can talk a little bit about, what would be the difference of, plop your kids in front of Little Mermaid versus Kiki's Delivery Service. What's the charm? What's the value? What's the main difference comparing Disney to Japan's Disney, which is, in my opinion, is Studio Ghibli.
Right. Well, Disney did buy a lot of bought rights to a lot of the Ghibli movies and re-released them under the Disney brand.
Yes, correct.
Of course, because they couldn't replicate that kind of whimsical magic and superb storytelling.
And on the side here, you have the Disney logo, and then afterwards, let me just see here. They lost the contract, or I'm not sure what happened, but then they started releasing them non-Disney ones. Right, this was after, so I don't have one of each that are before and after, but you can see Totoro here was Disney, and Arrietty here was after that partnership ended for whatever reason.
Yeah. Right.
But so what would you
the popularity, right?
Yes, correct. As soon as it made its name, they're like, we don't need you anymore, Disney.
Yeah.
Potentially. And they're on Netflix in Canada, right?
Are they? I didn't
know. The kids watch them on there, when we're too lazy to put the DVD in. This was my first experience with Studio Ghibli. At the time, sorry for those that are listening, I'm holding up a copy of the Blu-ray and DVD combo edition of Spirited Away, which is a tale of Chihiro, or Chihiro's family is moving to a new house, but they stop on the way to explore an abandoned village, almost like a theme park. And one thing leads to another, not ruining things, but it's an incredible tale of incredible art. I just love the grandma here who has a baby that is bigger than her, and she is probably 5 times as big as anyone, both width and height. It's just incredible, whimsical, and absolutely unreal. Out of the best kind of imagination. But sorry, digressing off of the difference between Disney and Ghibli.
Yeah, so the main difference is the art style, of course. As you know, the art style is a little more, honestly, I want to say more kid oriented,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, it's just it sits well with adults, or with me at least.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, like, sitting there and watching a Disney movie, like for example, a Mickey Mouse movie or whatnot. Feels It just feels like it's hard to put into words. I don't feel like I'm watching a movie that's tailored to adults,
Mm-hmm.
and it is tailored to children specifically. But
Mm-hmm.
with Ghibli, it looks like children's animation, but there are themes that are clearly adult themes.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, children don't get it, but it's so subtle. Everything's just so
Yeah.
intelligently delivered. The story and art just delivered in a way that as adults we can disseminate it, but children have a hard time. They can see this; they just see beautiful animation
Yeah.
and story, right?
When you're
So that's like
talking
huge differences for me.
when you're talking there, the hairs on the back of my neck were standing up. Just like that's like it was putting me in that world.
Mm.
Like classical music, how there's these highs and lows,
Yep.
right? I do find with Ghibli, it's a bunch of loud things happening, like running down the stairs screaming, and then silence, like, oh, and then there's something, and there's literally like just eyes are wide,
Mm-hmm.
and there's like 10 seconds of silence.
Yeah.
I can tell you, and and you're a dad, I'm a dad, and between all of the different movies I put on for the kids, like you said, I can sit through them because they're geared to all ages.
Mm-hmm.
And these have been the best movies to hold the attention of the kids.
Yeah.
For some reason, every time I say, hey, you want to watch, Totoro, The Wind Rises, they're like, no, we'll watch something else. But as soon as I put it on, they are glued.
Yeah.
And the values that they get out of those movies are so wholesome.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
For those that think about anime, they're thinking about maybe Akira or some kind of like, blood, guts, gore, kind of like, techno paradise murder stuff. But this is more complete, like throw everything you know about Japanese anime out the window. This is almost, in my opinion, a completely separate category of wholesome, not only the art style, but the wholesome quality. And like I said, the crescendos and the highs and lows.
Yeah. It's definitely, they're so good. And honestly, looking back, I think my first brush with Studio Ghibli was Totoro, My Neighbor Totoro. That was, and I was an adult when I saw it. Well, was I an adult? I suppose.
So your first one was
mentally,
Totoro.
I wasn't, maybe, but physically, I was.
Yeah.
And I love that movie. I loved it. Like,
this one
goodness, couldn't get enough of it. Such a good movie. I love the moments of silence where it's just completely silent, as you said, right? Those are,
And then out of nowhere.
yeah. And you know what? Honestly, I think that's good for kids to have that silence in movies and not be bombarded by music and loud explosions and cars going down the street and things blowing up. They need that bit of silence and then dialogue and then silence. Just kind of just to capture their attention and not be so distracted by noises to keep their attention. I think it's beneficial for children or for kids.
You know what? I just think we just tapped into the next future wave of what's better than TikTok instead of having machine gun information of hold your attention, hold your attention, hold your attention. It's this silence for a sec to see what you're missing and then to kind of bring it back.
Right. And to process what you've seen.
Mhm.
Right. I sometimes think these Studio Ghibli movies are like a cross between reading a book and watching a cartoon. They're like
Mm,
something in the middle, right? Where you
hmm
need that focus and attention, and it's giving it to you, but it's doing it very very systematically and slowly in a way that we should be watching these kind of movies or any kind of
mm,
cartoons. I know growing up in the 80s, all the cartoons are just noise, just
hmm
crazy noise,
Yep.
right? And
Hold
action,
your attention.
like Rambo and
Hmm
Ghostbuster cartoons and Thundercats, awesome cartoons, of course.
Yep.
But looking back, man, they messed me up.
Yeah, it's probably true. The the silence parts I find are not always, but much of the time, in my opinion, are when someone or something is happening and they're looking at a maze at something. They're
Yeah,
like in amazement.
right.
They're like, oh, what? And then that's all, but that's the way that I'm saying that there almost leads to say that, oh, it's a direct attempt to push people to hold their attention, but I'm not explaining it properly because it's definitely not that. It's more
Mhm.
of, a more natural flow of incredible experiences.
Yeah,
And it's not really themed around, that constant TikTok pop up.
exactly. Yeah.
But yeah.
But you see that in a lot of cartoons today, even like Disney movies that are being released,
Mhm.
every year. It's the same thing, right? It's just
Yeah.
noise and flashy colors and noise and screaming and stuff. It's just something that I honestly don't think it's beneficial
No,
for
it
anybody, right? And it
it's
can't hold
horrible.
my attention anymore because I do a ton of reading, and for some reason I can't
Yeah.
focus on all that craziness.
Mhm.
I need some kind of calm to absorb what I'm watching, right?
Yep. Like, or as Eckhart Tolle says, stillness speaks.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Through the stillness, you can,
Hmm. And a
um,
picture's worth 1,000 words, and in
mhm.
that, like Studio Ghibli, you can look at a scene and just be mesmerized by it. Just the sounds of a scene. You've seen those anime scenes where the camera's panning and you hear that cicada bug in the background
Yeah.
on a summer's day, and
Mhm.
it just makes you feel like you're there.
Yeah. And a lot of these movies were, by, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right. Is it Hayo? I know his last name Miyazaki or
Hmm.
Miyazaki-san. Um, is was around I think the 1920s or something like that, but it was right after either World War One, two. I'm not sure exactly, but a lot of them are set in that kind of era where there's not TVs, there's not
All right.
phones. It's kind of in the time that maybe was most prominent to Miyazaki,
Yeah, it's like
and
post World War II era.
yeah, and like some of them, like have you seen this one? This one here is Howl's Moving
Oh yeah,
Castle.
I've seen that. Yeah.
And this, I'm not sure, like for those that can't see, like Howl is a crazy magician, or words cannot describe what Howl is. And he lives in a castle that, can walk, when you open it, different doors open to different areas of the world. It's just, and then it goes from something like completely whimsical like that, makes like, you know, imagination flare up to something like Secret of Ariadne, who
Hmm.
is, just a regular girl, come from a regular family, but she's essentially the size of maybe your index finger. And she's trying to stay away from the world of the humans because, and she calls, or the little people in her world calls the normal size humans beans, right? Oh no, a bean,
Yeah.
whatever that means. Like it's just, and you know, and she gets caught by one of like a teenage boy, and he just wants to be friendly, but she doesn't know. She thinks she's at risk. And you have again like cats. This, this is the cat's face is three of her
Hmm.
high. And then so that's you know very magical, then very kind of realistic to imagine just a small person, where the
Yeah.
other one's very magical. And then you have just ones like Whisper of the Heart, which is just like, I believe there's no like magic in it at all. It's just literally romance, love, growing up.
Yeah.
Um,
What else do you have
but
there?
I have. Have you seen um, this one here, Princess?
Oh yeah,
Look,
for sure, man. That was in the theaters. I actually saw that in the theater. It was
nice.
a huge Western release for that movie way back.
One of my kids' favorites is this one,
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've seen that. That's a little
Ponyo.
newer, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like it's a fish that I
Mm-hmm.
believe drinks or breathes air and then accidentally turns into a human. And the
Mm-hmm.
person that was maintaining all of the fish
Yeah.
gets very upset, tries to turn Ponyo back from a little boy into a fish.
Yeah.
But I think, it's, then I also have here
Let's see if you have my favorite Miyazaki movie of all time.
The Wind Rises here. I don't think I have one of my favorites here, but there was one that it reminded me a lot like Metroid.
Maybe
It,
it's the same one I'm thinking about.
it
Okay,
was
which
one,
one's yours?
I don't know the name of it, but it was one that everything was, it's almost like The Last of Us. Everything was like spores and there was
That
slugs.
I
Yeah.
think that's my favorite. It's called
What's that?
Nausicaa Valley of the Wind.
Yeah. Nausicaa. Yeah. That was
That is
my
so
favorite.
good, man.
As well. I have that on DVD. I still need to get Nausicaa on Blu-ray
Hmm.
because I want to own them all, like
Yeah,
Pokemon. That was crazy,
yeah.
right?
It was a classic,
Yeah,
anime, classic animation, classic story. It was a gem. It
yep.
is a gem.
And that was like everything is like coming back, right? Like that. That
Yeah.
was very like Last of Us, right?
Hmm.
We talk about like video games that
Yeah.
became movies or TV shows, like Last of Us. We have going back to Disney, my Little Mermaid,
Hmm.
now live action. Do you
Yeah.
ever think they would do like, essentially like a castle in the sky, but with real people? Would they go down the route of, what Disney's doing right now with
Yeah.
taking the cartoons and making them real?
Honestly, they may one day if it's profitable, because end of the day, that's all that matters, right? Is
Hmm.
just whatever they can make out of it.
Yep.
Um, I hope they don't. I really hope
I,
they don't.
it will ruin it, right?
I hope they don't, especially Hollywood. I hope they don't get their mitts on it.
Yeah.
They will
Money
just
always seems to,
destroy
yep.
that. I wouldn't watch it anyways. I definitely wouldn't
Right.
watch it because I don't want to taint, that the masterpiece of the originals. But yeah.
I felt the same way about Final Fantasy VII
Hmm.
remake, not remaster,
Yeah.
because I get it. People, it's like again, Hollywood gets to it and they say, you know what? Nobody wants turn-based combat anymore.
Mhm.
They want real time because they don't want to wait. They don't want to play a game of chess.
Right.
But what I really wanted is like the game was perfect already.
Hmm.
I believe that I would say, in my opinion, probably majority, maybe like, 51% people feel that same way. If you check Reddit, I
Yeah.
believe that everyone just wanted to take the same game. It was perfect. I just give me 4K, 60 frames a second. Heck, if you're going to make it isometric top down, give me 120 or 240
Right.
hertz, right? 4K. And just don't touch it. Like it's perfect.
Hmm.
Don't even do voiceover. That's fine. Like let me read it again. I just
Yeah.
want, FF7 was D-pad only
Yeah.
because the DualShock 2 or one, whatever, it didn't have analog sticks
That's right.
when it came out. So they never, I don't think you could patch games on the PS1 day. I mean, maybe you could, but
Hmm.
it was very uncommon. Like it never got the analog stick support.
Yeah.
But yeah, they kind of ruined it for like I played it, but I'm playing it, I'm enjoying it, but I'm really
The
like,
magic's gone.
yeah, the magic is gone when Hollywood gets to it. What about this one? This one's a little obscure.
I've never seen that.
Yes,
How
this
is
one
it?
is a little bit weird. Like you can tell that the like it's very sketchy.
Mm-hmm.
kind of almost like it was an unreleased that they tried to re-release. But it is very charming and magical. And you know what? I'm going to set this one aside. And
Yeah.
next time you come over, and we're kind of, hanging out, we can
Yeah.
watch this. It
Okay.
is so cool. Won't ruin anything for you, but I would say it is up there with the magic. In the art style is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So from the creators of Spirited Away and the Wind Rises. I don't think I have the Wind Rises here, but yeah, I guess I'm missing some. One that the kids absolutely loved is this one,
Oh yeah, the
especially
classic.
Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving the house, teenager, starting your own life. Plus, with Kiki, she's got a cat that talks.
Right.
Who doesn't want that from Sailor Moon era?
Yeah, exactly.
You
Yeah.
know
Speaking of a cat that talks, have you ever seen The Cat Returns?
that is my
Oh yeah.
favorite. Well, I said it was
Oh,
between
coming next.
Nausicaa and The Cat Returns that were my two favorites. And this one,
Nice.
there were so many reasons. One, the voice actors in it, and I watched all of the. I'm not a movie, TV buff or enthusiast. I never watched the commentary behind the scenes, any of that.
Yeah.
I also don't buy a lot of movies commonly, especially that Netflix got 4K Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision support. I
Mm-hmm.
really weaned off of it. But this, like, I've watched this back to front, up and down. Like,
Yeah.
I've YouTube stuff. You have like I think the dad, is it the dad from Everyone Loves Raymond is Muta, which is
Mm-hmm.
the fat cat.
Yeah.
And then it's just so charming.
Mm-hmm. It is.
So for those that want to know what The Cat Returns is about, by the way, I had my friend Nate and friend James, when I got this, when I was working at Blockbuster in Mississauga, I bought it, right, and they saw it on my shelf when they came over, living at home, and I think I went to the bathroom or something, came back, and they're holding it. They're like, "What is this?" And it was on like DVD, and they're like, they were making fun of me like crazy, but they didn't know, right? They were like, it's like, guys, you have no idea, right? And they're like, "Oh, do you want to watch maybe The Cat Returns?" I'm like, "Listen," it's like, it's a kid's. It's like, no, listen. It's like, you can't judge a book or anything by the cover, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So Anne Hathaway, Carrie Ellis, Peter Boyle, Elliot Gould, and Christian Bell. So we have like an all-star
Mm-hmm.
lineup of voice actors, just charming, incredible. Cool thing about this movie, 90 minutes. That's an hour and a half, pretty short. I think
Perfect.
it's even like an hour and 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It is like, if you have time, a little bit longer than a show, right?
Yeah.
I like these movies that you can get through like a longer show,
Yeah.
like 2 hours. I would say, for me personally, the death of the slow dying of the movie industry in favor of TV and episodic content for me was the 2 hours, right?
Right.
It's very difficult to sit through this, but this 1 hour and 20 minutes or 90 minutes is a gift from God, in my
For
opinion.
sure. Yeah.
How about this one?
I've seen that. Yeah. That's a newer one.
Yeah. I'd say this one here is the Tales from Earthsea.
Yeah.
William Dafoe, other voice actors. Now, this one here, it was like, I put it on thinking that, okay, another Ghibli movie, kids will be fine. The opening, pretty gruesome, a lot of blood,
Mm-hmm.
So I really wish I watched Tales from Earth and Sea before
Yeah.
than watching with my kids. I mean, the rating is PG-13. I
Right.
mean, and it says for some violent images, but after that first part,
Mm-hmm.
it gets pretty benign,
Yeah.
or like least invasive. So after, I'm not sure what actually happened with Ghibli, but they did essentially like dissolve or whatever. But some of the artists and ex-employees found a new company called Studio Ponoc, or Ponoc. And I was lucky enough to hear about this, and I was able to get this. And I'm not sure if you've seen this. This is Mary and the Witch's Flower.
I have not seen that. Oh,
I'll put this in front too. This one here has it feels almost indistinguishable from a Ghibli movie. There is something missing. You can tell that, Miyazaki perhaps was not involved.
Yeah.
Right. So it does not have his level of storytelling,
Right.
but it has all of the imagination, and, it's more like Kiki's delivery service. So like the witch one mixed with Howl's Moving Castle. So that very imaginative, pouring out some liquid that is also a person that has a face and talks to you. Like, it's just so incredible.
Yeah.
This one is so good. They have another one coming out. And if you just look at, if you like Wikipedia,
what's this company name?
Ponoc. And if last time I checked, they have another one coming out. And you type in Studio Ponoc.
Yeah.
And so the commercials, they have Mary and the Witch's Flower, which was 2017. Okay, so they have another one, Modest Heroes, which is the August 24, 2018. Doesn't look like there was well, maybe there is a stateside release. And then in winter 2023, they were planning another one called Yoshi Yuki Momos. But yeah, Modest Heroes. I'm going to check like Amazon real quick to see if that's out. And I'll do a
but Studio Ghibli's still operating.
Are they? Okay.
Miyazaki is still, he came out of retirement to start animating, and well, I don't know about animating because he's a little bit older.
Yeah.
But to produce films. So they're coming out with a new one called How Do You Live in 2023 this year.
Wow.
And he intends it to be his last film, according to this article.
Wow. Yeah. So Modest Heroes, Ponoc short films. So this one here looks like 3 different short films. Let me just see here. This one here is, this is another one. There's another Studio Ghibli one called Earwig and the Witch. Like, what is going on here? There's like even more. So I'm not
probably
even sure.
a lot. They've been making movies for how long does it say here? 37 years.
It's incredible. I wonder, I'm going to add it to the cart and then just see if it's on Amazon, because my wife, being a financial planner, keeps me on a tight budget. The half-pound Reese's peanut butter cup is $5, and that seems reasonable as well. But let's get off Amazon at this point. Have you had the half-pound cup? Like, do you like Reese, or do you have any chocolate?
Half a pound cup?
Yeah, we're talking about like the size of a small soup bowl.
No.
If you put it in the fridge and you cut it, it's like little pieces of pie.
It's like little, yeah. I've never had it.
Okay, so all right, so we got our next time plan. We got Mary and the Witch's Flower, right? What else we got?
A half pound pie.
Well, then what was the other one? Oh yeah, this one too, right? And then we'll do those 2, and we'll unfortunately, any kind of workout you do that day, Rui, you're probably going to have to tank because of the half-pound cup. But yeah, it's great. Yeah.
You know what I just read? That they have a museum for Studio Ghibli in Japan.
Yes.
Museum. You saw that?
Yes. Yes. And cool. I told, the wife, kids, if we ever went to Japan, it's like some of the stuff's outdoor, some of it's indoor. But it really feels like you're in the world that, let me just pull it up here, Studio Ghibli theme park, I guess. I'm not sure.
I think it's a museum. It's called. Yeah, it's a museum.
So Ghibli Park.
Not to be. Oh, sorry. There's Ghibli. It says not to be confused with Ghibli Park. So
Sorry.
Ghibli
Yes.
Park and museum are two distinct things.
Yes.
Oh, I'd be visiting both places.
Yes. So that this one is crazy. There's like when you go to the Totoro area, like
No,
I'll put this one in the show notes. I'll just paste it in here. I'm not sure if you're able to see that one, or maybe I'll put it in the chat. But
all
they
right, you
have
want
an
to buy tickets?
interactive. Yeah, for sure. I would go if you want an excuse to go to Japan. This is good. And do you have the link for the museum?
Yes, I do.
Maybe put it both in the footnotes in the chat. I'm not
Sure.
sure which one will push to Spotify and all that.
Okay. Let me put it in.
You
Back
might
it
be
up
double
here.
dipping. Right. So the Studio Ponok, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, is a Japanese animation studio based in Mus Mus Musashino, Japan. It was founded in 2015 by a former lead producer of Studio Ghibli. And let's see here. So, and its first feature film was Mary and the Witch's Flower, which was released July 8th, 2017, throughout Japan, with its film's main character, Mary Smith, serving as the company's mascot and their logo, similar to the mascot Totoro for Ghibli. So, kind of almost like a hey, don't fix it if it's not broken.
Right.
They came out with a de facto logo, which was a character, and they decided to continue that. But let's see what other movies that I don't have here, because I think I went over all of them that I have. That is on Wikipedia. So another one I loved was, and this is going back oldest to newest. So we talked about Castle in the Sky.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Grave of Fireflies. I've seen that. That's pretty
Right.
mature. Not mature as in like gruesome, but very sad.
It is. Yeah.
Almost like it very much humbles you down. And for the kids, it was, a time that we would, hug a little bit more and appreciate life. We talked about Only Yesterday. I think, no, we talked about Whisper of the Heart, but I think Only Yesterday was which one of them was the cat? Like the Cat Returns is number 2, right? What was the first one? Is it because it's either Whisper of the Heart or Only Yesterday?
I honestly
Oh yeah,
can't
it is.
remember.
Yeah. So here, I'm not sure if you can see that in the top.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So Whisper of the Heart was the first time you saw the cat, and the Cat Returns was
Right.
yeah. So that one was.
Have you seen Porco Rosso?
That's the one I wanted to say. So that is so crazy. So for
It's a good
those
one,
that
man.
haven't seen this or heard of it, he is a amazing war pilot, like fighter pilot, or a world renowned race pilot, and through whatever means, there was a curse placed on him that turned him into a fat pig, right? And now he just hangs out on an island with his plane, sipping, Mai Tais, and occasionally pops into the city to, go about his ways. But he is so cool. He's for someone that you would think would be, a real life pig walking around in the society that we have right now would get bullied beyond belief, right? But this guy is so cool. He's so chill. We're talking about the testosterone levels of this pig are trump any human, hands down, working out or not, or pharmacology induced or not. Just the coolest
Yeah.
walking
And
pig.
he's an ex-Italian World War I fighter. So he's an Italian pig, hence the name Porco Rosso, and I believe Rosso means red in Italian.
The red pig.
The red pig. I
Yeah.
believe that's what it means. I'm not Italian, so I have no idea. But yeah, I think that's what it means. The red pig.
Yeah. I
Pretty
agree.
interesting. Such a good
Then
movie.
Ocean Waves. I don't remember this one.
Yeah, I don't either.
I
You know
don't.
me.
I got to check that one out. Then after uh, so Porco Rosso, Ocean Waves, Pom Poko. That was pretty
Pompoko.
cool. It. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's about raccoons.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
So, but
watched that
the
recently actually with my
nice.
my son. It's
And
about raccoons. Yeah.
you have it on Blu-ray or
No, I don't have it on DVD.
uh,
Yeah,
did you ever
remember
go down
that?
the rebuy? Yeah, I know. Remember? Oh, I have it on Betamax. Or I have it on. What was the thing that Sony came out with PSP? Oh, UMD. I have it on
UMD. Yeah.
UMD. And if you want to watch it, I got to bust out my PSP and use the mini HDMI to big HDMI
Yeah.
cable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whisper
No,
of the
it's
Heart.
Pompoko was about raccoons, and yeah, it was mainly about the environment, and you know, it was just a fun movie. Just it was just fun.
So the raccoons are, you know, very smart, right? We all know this, right?
Yeah.
But according to the movie, what we don't know is that they talk, they organize, they try to figure stuff out, they
Yeah.
build stuff.
They want to thwart the
Th-
developers. You know,
yeah,
it's a typical bad development people movie.
yeah,
Development
yeah,
bad,
definitely.
nature good.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's funny that we think we are the smartest race on the planet, but we are destroying the world environmentally and killing each other at rapid paces
Yeah.
like no other creature or nature is, right?
Yeah, man.
But we're the smart ones, right?
Especially these raccoons, man. I feel for them after you watch the movie. It's like, man,
Yeah,
never look at raccoons the same after
yeah.
this.
I definitely leave the garbage can open at night now. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want the mess. Princess Mononoke, My Neighbors, the
I've
Yamadas.
never seen this.
That one's I can't remember seeing that, but I don't know. It's just
Probably should watch it at some point.
that one is. I remember the cover. It's just like
Mhm.
everyone's smiling.
Yeah. And you have Spirited Away.
Yeah, that was my first
That was a
experience
good one.
in
Yeah.
theaters. I think I saw
Mhm.
it with some friends. Then Cat Returns,
Yeah.
Howl's Moving Castle, Tale from Earthsea,
Earthsea. Yeah.
Ponyo, Ariadne, From Up on Poppy Hill. I do not have that one.
I do
The
remember.
Wind Rises,
Yeah.
which I don't. I'm just trying to think. I forget the difference between The Wind Rises and Nausicaa because I feel like two of them are very similar, and I need to watch them back to back
Oh,
to remember.
Nausicaa, you would not mix that up with anything else, man. There's
Right?
like things like crazy big cockroaches with shells on them, and she's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
on this hoverboard just shooting them. And they can't
Yeah.
die, and they expand. It's really insane.
We got
I
to
think
watch
this
that
one, yeah, that
first
one we
off,
should
right?
watch it. That one's awesome, man.
I got to get that on Blu-ray though, because you probably have it on Betamax or
Have it on
DVD.
yeah Betamax, dude.
Yeah, you have it on A track. Then there's the Tale of Princess Kaguya. Yeah, that's the one I held up. So this one happened after
Mhm.
The Wind Rises, or the same year. I can't really tell according to Wiki. Then this one was a bit of a weird one. The kid, I do have it. I
Which
might
one?
have downloaded it. It was when Marnie was there,
Hmm.
and this one was very weird.
Yeah,
Almost like, have you ever been to like a cottage and then you have like some friends that you've met in cottage country, and
yeah,
you like they are like your best friends for life, and then
yeah,
all of a sudden, time to go home.
yeah, yeah, for
And
sure. I remember that
that's
feeling.
what that one is about. You know, it's just about two girls, friends.
Mhm.
Just really weird. Like that one was probably my least favorite.
Yeah,
And then the Red Turtle. Okay, that seems pretty pimp. I wonder. So that came out in 2016.
hmm
I'm gonna clear my schedule this weekend to watch. I'll wait. I think I'll wait for you. The Red Turtle.
It's a co-production between Studio Ghibli and several French companies. It tells the story of a man who becomes shipwrecked on an uninhabited island and meets a giant red female turtle. The film has no dialogue.
Ah, yes,
Wow,
I remember this one.
that's pretty cool.
I did watch this one. I can't remember if I was underimpressed or I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just hallucinating once again.
Yeah,
The Earwig and the Witch, that was 2020. But you see here on Wikipedia, you have the director and screenwriters, right?
yeah,
And if you go back, 2013 is what appears to be the last time that we see Miyazaki.
right. Because he retired.
Yes. And then if you look at all of these, none of these were our favorites, right? I talked about when Marnie was there was
Yeah,
definitely not
I didn't watch any of them after that,
right.
so I can't
And then
see.
so maybe I'll wait. Maybe I'll wait on the Earwig and the Witch. However, I'm not sure the director Goro, or I'm not sure what the accent over the last how to pronounce that, but his last name is Miyazaki, so I'm not sure if it's a relative.
It
I
could
mean,
very well be,
that one might be okay but that assumes that
but
Miyazaki's magic is in the blood.
yeah, that doesn't work like that. But you know something? This Earwig and the Witch,
Mhm.
it looks like computer generated animation.
Uh-oh.
I can't really tell for certain.
I like the cover and stuff.
Yeah, if you click on it, you can see the cover. Look
Yeah.
at the art. What do you think? Computer animated?
Oh, for sure. If you actually hit the images tab,
Yeah.
it looks like all like that. Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan, I have to say, of computer generated animation. I do
Yep.
like hand drawn animation better. Just
Yep. Me
something
too.
I grew up with and I enjoy it better.
Yeah. Do you think that makes us old fogies?
Yeah,
You know,
probably, but who cares?
get get off my damn
Everybody's going to
lawn.
get old.
Yeah.
Everybody listening to this is going to get old.
How
It's
do you
inevitable.
live? How do you live? That's the one that's coming out next from
Right.
Miyazaki,
And it looks
and
like he
that
drew the cover by hand, which is good.
yeah, pretty crazy. And that comes out in July 2023. For some reason, I keep on thinking it's 2024. All right, so my last one here, I think we did like pretty good on going over stuff and why people should check it out.
Yeah.
Is okay. So we talked about how Ghibli has inspired video games.
Yeah.
Miyazaki has retired, and people are like, "Oh no, we're not stopping. Let's go!" Right?
Right.
Similar to George Lucas steps down, they still do Star Wars. They get better and better. I mean, in this case, the Ghibli stuff didn't seem to, but the ex employees that went to Studio Ponok,
Yeah.
you were gonna love Mary and the Witch's Flower.
Mhm.
And we talked about the games that were directly working with
Right.
Ghibli, and the spin-off after, or the part 2 that was not, but however, since part 1 there was some crossover. And we even have like games like this, which I'm holding up a copy of Baldo, which is almost like a Miyazaki inspired Zelda clone, top-down isometric from a smaller development company. This one I got from Pix and Love Games, Peggy 7. So it's a European disc that works in the PS4. Obviously, it's region free in PS4. Yeah, they're even inspiring completely unrelated developers to build similar games, and they're all charming,
I
beautiful,
like that
fun,
game.
and wholesome.
I
Yeah,
like Baldo. It was
yeah. I
fun.
think we have our hangouts cut out for us. Getting back to that, and
Yeah.
I'm stuck in Baldo. I got to this one area where I'm like, you ever do this in video games? You're like, I don't want to Google what to do, but I'm kind of wasting hours right now.
Yeah, that happened to us last time.
Yeah.
We were sitting there. It's like half an hour later.
Yep.
Fuck, let's Google it.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have to Google it a couple more times, and it should hopefully get back.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a fine line between enjoyment and frustration, right? You want to be right, you want to straddle that middle and enjoy it and not be frustrated. But yeah, you can look after a while, man. I think 30 minutes is a good time in which you can.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if for development, it's kind of similar too. Like, okay, what was the thing that we were saying? Like, if you're stuck for 20 minutes to like Google it or give a peer a call, right?
Yeah.
So it's spend 20 minutes, figure it out, do some exploratory, right? But then as soon as you're like, okay, what's going on? And then boom, ChatGPT.
Sometimes you have crazy people who just want to go at it forever, and I'm guilty of that sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely a skill that you have to.
Yeah, it's a skill for sure.
Yeah, you get stronger like any muscle.
Yeah. I want to bring up one cool game before we change this. What we're talking about. There's a cool game called Behind the Frame, the Finest Scenery, and it's a point and click game which I've been like delving into like crazy. Like I love point and click games, and I've been playing a lot of them. So I started to play this, and it's inspired by Ghibli. I mean, the people who made it.
Wow.
Yeah,
and it's on Steam, right?
It's on Steam, and it's also on Switch.
It's on Switch.
Yeah, but point and click on Switch is a little more challenging. But
yes.
Yeah, it's on Steam.
So all reviews are overwhelming positive. Yeah, it looks incredible. I have to check that one out. I'm going to start booting up Steam right now. Of course, it's doing an update because if you haven't opened it in a while. But anyhow, cool. Yeah. That's good to know. Behind the Frame. We'll probably put a link to that in the show notes as well.
Yeah, great idea. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So for anyone out there that haven't checked out any of the works or inspired works or derivatives or aspirational works of any developer or production studio for Studio Ghibli, Ponok, or anyone kind of touching that kind of inspiration level, it's definitely worth checking out. Wholesome, amazing, family quality. Love, peace, and kindness. No really bad messages. You don't end up turning off the movie and saying, "Damn, I'm scared to go outside." It's not a Gears of War. It's like Gears of Heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. Right. Anything else, Rui, from your side before we head out?
No, I think we've said enough for one day. Right. And look forward to next week when we talk about our next topic, which is probably going to be a mystery until Tuesday.
Exactly. Yeah, it'll definitely be a mystery. But it's going to be good. You and I both know.
For sure.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Hope you have a fantastic week. Rui and I will see you next time.